This will be our third fund. It's a $40 million fund. So we're giving people a chance now to say, hey, I want to be involved in big, giant real estate deals that pay money. These are deals that are doing anywhere from 160 to 200% returns. You put $1 million into a deal and you're coming out with $2 to $3 million, but it's going to take 10 years. This is not get rich quick, okay? If you're taking notes, write this down. Don't do the get rich quick, man. Go for the get rich for sure. I don't need to get rich quick. I want to get rich for sure. So I'm going to go from 4,000 units. How many do you think I should go to? I'm going to go to 40,000 units. This is what I'm going to do, and this is why I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to 40,000 units, and I'm going to get the whole world involved in it. You're either going to invest with me, or you're going to actually help me raise these funds. Okay, so when you see me on social media talking about other stuff, anything that you see me talking about, what I'm doing is building an audience so I can allow people to get in a vehicle to where everybody gets rich. Because let me tell you something, if you want to make happy customers for life, make them money.
Integrative Communications has been supplying turnkey field mobility solutions since 2004. We've assisted many prestigious customers in providing access to field workers and asset information in real time while reducing mobility costs. We optimize workflows and deploy mission-critical applications. We saved the industry $40 million last year. To learn more, go to icomcorp.com. That's icomcorp.com right now. There's only one person you need to know when it comes to health, fitness, and a better lifestyle. Liz Nierzwicki started her fitness journey at 10, overcame OCD, and is the foremost expert in weight training and dieting. She's the author of the international best-selling Happy, Healthy, Fit, Transform Your Life in 90 Days with the Figure Fit Lifestyle Program. She's also the host of the Figure Fit Life podcast. Liz is there to ensure you achieve your goals in fitness. She knows every movement of the body, every food to eat to get in shape, to achieve your fitness goals. To learn more about Liz, go to liznierzwicki.com. That's liznierzwicki.com right now. Leave a mark in your neighborhood with a lasting impression. A professional landscape can deliver that and more. And the man to bring it to you is Steve Griggs. Awarded the National Best of Hows in Client Satisfaction in 2016 with clients such as Dr. Oz and the Palisades Center Mall in West Nyack. Steve Griggs crafts and delivers a brilliant landscape plan guaranteeing your backyard oasis at a fair price. This isn't landscape design, this is lifestyle design. For more information, visit stevegrigsdesign.com. That's stevegrigsdesign.com. If you are a business owner who needs custom software solutions through Amazon Web Services to automate, speed up, and enhance your business so you can focus on what you do best, which is grow your company, let Nico's Computer Engineering get you started today. With a free consultation, CEO and owner Tim Clark has spent the last 10 years building custom software for companies around the United States. Whatever your need is, whatever industry, if you need efficiency, Tim Clark can help you. Nico's Computer Engineering knows that you value speed to market. That's why we have the fastest turnaround and software implementation on the planet. If you want to get started with Nikos, go to nicoce.com. That's nicoce.com to get started right now.
Hey, Grant Cardone here. Power players I have today, both Ask a Pro, Power Player, Matt Manero is going to talk to you about money, talk to me about money, why you need more money and why you need the book. You need more money, man. I know I inspired this title.
Dude, you've inspired me to be me now, man.
Man, I love that.
Come on.
Dude, this guy's all over. He's CNN, CNBC, MSNBC. Can't even believe you go over there. But he's all over the TV right now talking to people about money. Yeah. Do they invite you back after you tell them, hey, you need more money?
They are freaked out about it, and I'm so unabashed about it that I don't know what to make of it. But it freaks me out. I just did this thing with MarketWatch, and then the comments were horrendous. I mean, people just hate on this topic, right? And then it comes at me. And then some other outlet picked it up and said, some finance expert got slaughtered because of the comments, and they started quoting the people in the comments like I'm wrong and the people in the comments are right. Right. Because I said you need to save 40% of your gross income to get ahead.
I like that. I like the 40% rule. But it makes it impossible for people that are making 70 grand a year.
Well, that's why you got to make more money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that simple. It's not a matter of live where you are. It's go get more. Right?
So this is going to be good for me to be on this side of this, right? Because then I get to be the questioner, not the person assaulted for being the idiot.
I'll take the arrow.
So First of all, why'd you write the book?
Look, I wrote the book because my wife's brother, my brother-in-law John, got diagnosed with cancer at 46, and he died 2 years ago. He left a wife and 4 kids with no health insurance, no life insurance, and $100 in the bank. That's why I wrote this book.
Wow.
But what's amazing is, since I wrote this book...
Was he making money when he...
I mean, it was always a chicken and feathers existence for him, right?
What does that mean? What's chicken and feathers?
It was up and down. He was in the car business.
Why do they call that chicken and feathers?
Well, one day
heard that term.
One day you're eating chicken, the next day you're eating feathers. You know?
Oh, okay.
So
I've never heard that term.
So it was a huge tragedy, and you know my wife Rocky.
Yeah, she's awesome.
You couldn't have picked a worse person to take from her than her brother. I mean, they were thick as thieves, man. And then so for him to die with no money, Rocky and I took care of all the bills. We handled everything, but it didn't buy his health back. He still died almost 1 year to the day. And I said, man, there's a lot of people that are probably in this same spot.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the book. And since I wrote the book, I've had 2 scenarios in my life. Just recently, last week, my best buddy in the world went to the doctor with some liver problems. He was diagnosed with liver cancer and a short period of time to live. And then Rocky has a very close friend in her 50s who's dying of this. So when we put our head in...
And the issue is not that we're all going to die, right? I mean,
that is not the issue.
So what is it? Like because...
The issue is we're all going to die. So in my world, that doesn't even need to be that feared. It's what happens to legacy and the people that we leave behind financially. And most people are completely clueless about it. And I have 3 very close examples of how freaking important it is.
Yeah. So like my dad died, as you know, when I was 10. He did really well for my family, like until the income stopped. And I think that people don't calculate. Like, we just don't look at a lot of things that can go wrong in our lives, whether it's bad health or death or the main income provider or some economic cataclysm. What is enough then, Matt? I mean, based on what you're looking at and talking to people about.
Look, I believe, and the publisher, by the way, made me take this out of the book, right? They said this will alienate the Americans.
Who's the publisher?
Penguin.
Oh, my gosh.
They will alienate.
You guys.
And so in the book, I wrote an entire chapter. By the way, I wrote 75,000 words. This book is 51,000 words. They took out 24,000 words of content that I thought was important, right? But I wrote, life begins at 150 grand. Life gets better at 250. Life gets real good at 500. And they said, you must take that out. That's going to alienate the American people. And I said, but that's about how it is. So that's how it is. In my mind.
So that didn't get included in the book.
They took it out. They killed it.
Okay, so we're going to give you guys some stuff that's not in the book. Okay, so when you get the book, it's at Amazon, right?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere books
you
are
need
sold,
more money. Costs what? $25?
20.
$20. But you might need more money to buy the book.
Listen, I don't want to be too harsh about it, but if you don't want to spend $20 to help your money situation, don't buy the book. You're never going to get it figured out.
It is tax deductible though. Just want to keep that in mind for everybody. So you're saying 150.
I'm saying life begins at 150, gets better at 250, gets real good at 500. That's annual income.
Okay, so let's just do some math here because you talked about the 100%. Let's just validate this 150. At 40% of 150, can I even do that? I'm saving. You're saying the 40% rule is I'm putting away 40% of my gross?
I'm saying you need to save 40% of your gross. Now here's where this gets a little twisted because that's really not the case if you're in your 20s. You don't need to save 40% in your 20s. You got compound interest that's going to help you out. But most people aren't saving in their 20s. And they're not even saving in their 30s. So guess when they start to wake up and say, oh shit, I'm behind. In your 40s, well, guess what? To make up that gap, you better start saving about 40% to make up the gap. That's the reality of what's going on out there. I know you know this, but I don't understand.
But tell me about this thing you said about compound interest. Because you know, guys, I call anybody out on anything. Where does anybody get compound interest from today?
Well, let's just say.
I'm compounding what? A half of 1%?
Well, let's just say, I mean, if we use.
You got to do a lot of compounding now.
You need time. You need time and you need the right vehicle. So if you can pull, in an index fund, if you could pull over time 4% and you put a few bucks in your 20s and you kept funding it, you'll be okay. That's not the route I took. Dude, I didn't have any money to put away in my 20s.
Right.
In my 30s, I was still trying to figure it out. How do I build a freaking business? I was reinvesting everything. There was no money in the early part of my 30s going into any savings whatsoever. So I had to make up the gap. And how do you make up the gap? You freaking save more money and you make more money.
So why can't a guy then, 22 years old, he's making, I mean, how many 22-year-olds are making 150 grand? That would put him in the top 1% of all earners.
Yeah. Hey, just FYI.
But it just sounds impossible. I'm gonna be that chick at MSNBC. It sounds what you're saying. It's impossible. What's her name?
I can't remember.
No, she does the Sunday show.
It was JJ Ramsberg.
JJ.
Yeah.
That sounds impossible, Mr. Manero. What you're saying? It's just impossible.
Well, here's what I would say. I would say number one, most people are in the wrong platform. They are not in a business that is ever going to get them financially free. Now, that does not mean, and a lot of people have that twisted around. I know we're on the exact same page here. People think that means I got to go start my own gig. Dude, you do not need to start your own gig. 99% of people should not be in business for themselves. They don't have the tolerance for pain that you and I have. And it's perfectly fine because there's a lot of amazing opportunities to be the entrepreneur, the guy underneath someone. Jared is a perfect example in this office of that. Like, the perfect example. Okay?
Ryan Secco is a perfect example.
Yeah, Todd is too. I mean, you have a lot of guys that are in that spot.
Isn't
that why people come to work for you too? Because they're like, everyone else got me here, and now I can go here, and I don't have to be the big boss. I'm the big boss. It's a bitch. Okay? The stuff that we have to handle and deal with never goes away. We think about it all the time.
Somebody told me that day, said, man, it's lonely at the top. I said, no, dude, it's scary. lonely is not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, am I doing the right thing here?
Of course,
you know?
Because, so you're saying it's impossible. Here's my stance. You got to skill up. You got to figure out, this is a big part of my book though, Grant, truly, is you really have to be totally aligned with what it is that you want your life to look like. Like, I know I have left millions of dollars on the table because I made a commitment very early on in my career when I didn't have any money that I wasn't going to screw customers.
This is chapter 3, Lifestyle by Design.
Lifestyle by Design.
Right?
What is it?
So tell me, what is that?
So for me, it's literally, what are your core values? What will you tolerate and what will you not tolerate? And that is very important to figure out. I kind of figured that out early. My stance was I wasn't going to take bribes, right? I wasn't going to give bribes, and I was always going to do the deal that I thought was right for the customer. And by the way, I left millions on the table
because you didn't take bribes.
And I always did the deal that I thought was best for the customer. And I guarantee you I left tons of money on the table because the customers would have paid more. But I was, by the way, self-esteem issue too, right? I was a little bit, I was selling way too cheap.
So some of that life by design, I'm glad you brought that up. You were designing your life at different ages where you look back now and you're like, I probably wouldn't have done that life by design.
But I never had an ethical question. And that's an important part. Because there's a lot of people going into platforms chasing money, and they're giving up their ethics to chase the money. That always burns up.
Isn't the reverse of that true as well? A lot of people going into platforms chasing nothing.
Yes.
And giving up their self-esteem.
Totally. Well, that's true too.
Right?
That's true too. We're gonna pay the price.
Oh, totally. Like so what Matt's saying here, just so I'm just going to give you a little bit of a, the krill coming out of the whale, right? I'm clarifying what he's saying. You guys, some of you at 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, your life by design, and I talk about this in the 10X rule, man. You can only write goals to where you can imagine. We just finished having 45 minutes in my office talking about some deals I'm doing. I know you're going to walk out of here saying,
Got to go bigger.
Got to go bigger.
Totally.
And you can't do that. You can't think big if you're surrounded by small thinking.
Look, I don't want to get too deep in the mindset because everybody knows that about you. I mean, you're such a mindset guy. But what you're talking about foundationally, dude, you have to put yourself in a bigger pond. In order to get out of, look, my business, Grant, was based on, I thought big companies grew at 3 to 5% a year. So if I grew at 15% a year, I was killing it. And I would use those stupid adjectives. How's business? Oh, we're killing it. Well, how am I killing it? Well, you grew at 15%. Dude, when you're doing $1 million a year in sales, you should be growing at 100, 200, 300% a year, not 15%. And that's a huge problem that happens with people when it comes to their money. They want these small incremental moves. And I'm here to challenge them to say that is not the way it needs to go. You can go from 70 grand to 150 in a very short period of time, and you fixed a lot of problems. And 150 to 3 and 3 to 6 is then the confidence starts to crank.
You're saying it's easier for a guy starting making 60 grand a year. Average income in America is 60 grand. It's easier for him to go from 60 to 100 than it is the guy to go from 6 million to 10 million.
I would say so if they're willing to pay a price.
Right. So let's go back. I want to tie these two things together. You talked about the 40% rule. I agree with the 40% rule. Guy's making 60 grand a year. He lives in Miami. You live in Atlanta, right?
I live in Dallas.
You live in Dallas. Very similar to Atlanta.
Yeah, it is.
I confuse them all the time.
Yeah, it is.
Dallas, Atlanta.
Totally.
So you live in Dallas. I'm making 60 grand. That means I would have to save 24,000. That seems impossible.
Right. It is impossible. So what's the only
solution? I got to live on 36 grand.
So what's the only solution? Go make more money. Buy the book. I show you exactly how to do it. I give you the roadmap. The first part of the book is the wake-up call. The second part is the roadmap. The step-by-step process that I took to get myself out of broke and into what some people might consider rich.
So if I make 100, let's say that guy gets out, he does what you say in the book, he goes from 60 to 100. Now he's saving 40,000.
We're going to live pretty frugally, don't you think?
He's going to live on 60 grand a year,
Get used to
$5,000
it.
a month.
Perfect, just
Taxes
the way it
and
should
everything.
be.
That's
just the way it should be. Good.
What does that mean, just the way it should be?
It means if
That's
you
not a life by design.
Dude, if you want to get ahead financially, you got to pay a price. Period. And if that price means you get to squirrel away 40 G's a year and you still get 5 grand a month, dude, you can live just fine for a couple years.
So
like
I
that.
went from 60 grand to 100 grand. I made more money, but I didn't get a better car.
I hope not.
I didn't get a watch.
Dude, I hope you're living ridiculously frugal, because here's the bottom line.
I can't even get a designer jeans.
Dude, I don't care about any of that shit. You shouldn't get any of that stuff. You have to pay a price.
When do I get the designer jeans, the watch, and the car?
Here's the deal. And I think we're actually on the exact same page on this. I argue in the book that until you have $50,000 liquid cash, you are still broke. The next phase of wealth turns into accumulation mode, and that's the stack and rack piece, which I think is, by the way, really interesting, because I think everybody knows your story, right? Before 25, and obviously they see this incredible success now. But what I don't think a lot of people know is what that 30 to 42, 12 years look like, you know? I mean, tell me, just give me a little bit on that for a second.
Well, you know, it's interesting because Michael Burt, you know, Coach Burt, he said, I think y'all did something in Vegas together. He said, you really should do a thing about how to go from millionaire to the multimillionaire thing. I think he's trying to figure, he's running up against, okay, this is hard now. This is where it gets, because you got to put stuff at risk. I just had John Hugh, a Chinese kid, in here, and he's coming in, man, he's bumping up against. How do I accumulated this, I don't want to lose this. So yeah, those years are difficult. But one thing I didn't do was I didn't buy expensive cars, designer jeans, and watches.
And you stacked and racked.
I stacked, stored, and then invested.
And then deployed.
The big mistake that I made was that I started coasting, because I had a bunch of people around me telling me how good I was doing.
How many years do you think you coasted for?
Oh man, dude, at least from 15 years. 15 years? Oh, yeah, bro, it was stupid.
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
Yeah. I should have been buying deals the whole time. I should have been doing what I'm doing right now with the real estate.
But were you getting tired? You were like...
No, I wasn't getting tired. I was bored. I was exhausted all the time because I wasn't doing enough.
Yeah. That's such an important thing. I saw you do something recently where you said you need to force your people to work, because when they work, that's when they get energized. And it's so true, man.
So your point about that was what? The in-between place.
Well, I think my point is that we have to understand the 3 phases of wealth. Poor, accumulation, and rich. And I mentioned that to you before, and you added that 4th one, which was wealthy. And I actually referenced that in the book, right? Wealthy is indestructible wealth, right? But that's not really...
You gave me credit for that?
I did. This book is not written for people who are looking to do that. This book is written for people who just want to leave more than what they currently have. So we got 3 phases of wealth: broke, accumulation, and rich. Broke is defined as under 50 G's liquid.
Okay.
Now, I don't know why I picked that. It's my version of it, right?
Yeah.
But who talks about that?
Yeah, nobody.
Nobody talks about what these real numbers should be. Now, here's where it goes from there.
I got buddies who would be like, 50 grand, I'm broke.
Of course, but there'd be a lot of people who say, 50 grand, I don't have 500. How can I get 50 grand?
But is that true, dude? Is 50 grand really like any money?
Dude, that's, when you're coming from nothing, it's something.
Okay, so it's only a real number because I'm in poverty.
Yes, because here's where the next real number comes from. It's 100.
Yeah, yeah.
Because let's look at it. And even in Cardone Capital, for example, or any of the deals that I've done,
Yeah.
whether they're real estate deals or investment deals, the starting number is 100 G's. Nobody wants you to play with them unless you can put in 100. That, to me, my experience is that's the starting number. So then we got to go from 50 to 100, liquid and investable. You and I talked about this before, this reserve account.
Yeah.
Like that reserve account is the only reason that I've survived. That I was so disciplined that I took money from this bucket and I put it into this bucket and I never touched it. Like, never would tap into it. I don't care what the emergency was. Even if I had it in there, I would still say, we can't do it, right? And so that's this, I'm in accumulation mode. This is a power statement that I put in the book where people need to stop saying I can't do it and they need to start saying I'm in accumulation mode.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I started to say that to people, they were like, well, tell me what
And
that
you're not
is.
accumulating cars and watches and designer jeans, you're accumulating
Cash.
Yeah.
And you're stacking and racketing in this reserve account and you're preparing for when that final deal that you watched all the other people get, right?
Yeah,
and you've
yeah.
been saying, how come those deals don't come across my eyes?
Yeah.
Because then it comes across and then you can do it,
Yeah, yeah.
right? As you say, you can pull the
Yeah.
trigger and you
Yeah.
can actually make the move
Yeah.
on it.
So the 100, because one of the things I do with the 100 is if I'm not willing to put 100 grand into a deal, because the 100 that's a serious number to me.
It is.
I'm like, okay, that's a big number.
Sure.
10
Gets
grand.
attention.
One thing I realized was like I would play with 6 and 8 and 10 or 4 or 2, but when you get to 100, you don't go buy $100,000 worth of Bitcoin.
But you'll lose 6 or 8 or 10 because you're not
Exactly.
putting any attention on it.
Yeah,
but
so-
100, you're like,
so
hey,
one
how
of
we
my
doing
things
today?
is if I'm not willing to invest 100, I don't look at the investment.
Yeah.
And that's really for me, not for the guy taking money from me. It's like that's how I make a decision because it becomes enough to where I'm like, I don't want to risk that.
So why do I start to come up with these numbers and
Yeah.
even have the balls to talk about it in a book and take the hate for it? Because when you really begin to expand it out, it gets us to the next point of the book, which is the money has moved. And so everything is more expensive. I'll give you an example. I graduated college in 1991. When I graduated college, to be in the top 1% of earners in America, you needed to make 100 grand. Today, that number is 384,000. And yet people still
What's
think
the number again? So
384 is the number today.
384, 3 commas. No, 1 comma, 3 zeros.
384,000 to be in the top 1% of earners today, and yet lots of people still think 100 grand means I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
The money's moved.
Yeah, yeah.
And people don't understand this.
Right.
So then if we begin to expand, which I take it out, then we get to this $1 million number, right? Which is something I've heard you mention many times and I agree completely. If you have $1 million, by the way, average Social Security benefit in America is $1,466, right?
A month.
A month. So if you're getting 3% on your tax-free municipal bonds on your $1 million, right? That's 30 grand.
If
And
I'm getting what?
If you're getting, say, 3%, let's just say you have $1 million saved up towards the end and you said, I have to put in the most conservative investments and you put it in tax-free municipal bonds.
Yeah.
And they're paying 3%. So your million is throwing off 30 G's.
Yeah.
Plus your Social Security benefit,
Yeah.
right? Which is about another 16, 17,000. So you're living on $46,000, $47,000 a year.
Yeah.
And yet you thought when you'd be a millionaire, you'd be going to Tuscany
Yeah.
and you'd be on the RV cruising the country.
Oh, dude, I thought I was going to be on a big 200-foot yacht or something with $1 million.
So here's the toughest message out of the book, man, and this is, I think, what I've gotten the most hate from, is that you need more money than you think.
Yeah.
And
This is the money mindset, really, like.
It's the money mindset, it's the wake-up call that says we are all thinking too small, and some are living so close to the edge, like people I've loved, that it put a tremendous burden on me and my wife, and now a tremendous burden on his wife and his 4 kids.
Yeah, the community.
Dude, it's
The family, the network, the people that depend on you, right?
it's terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. And this is where I think that people are not told the truth. Like, I mean, if you really told the truth about the 50 grand, you'd probably drop it from the book.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you were telling me the truth, if I was your brother, and you weren't writing a book, I don't think you would encourage me to have 50 grand as the number.
That's an interesting point.
Right? Because look, that means I die and only got 50 grand. Elena, the wife, and the kids have $4,000 a month for 12 months.
So let's talk about that for a second.
She's dating the next day.
Here's the thing.
She's calling John at home. John, that's work for me?
Look, here's a beautiful part about it, though, Grant. I'm not selling any insurance, but you can hedge your brokenness with insurance. So for my brother-in-law could have.
What does that mean now?
So people say, here's the thing. People say, I can't do what you're telling me. It seems like a pipe dream, right? And my response to that
what
is,
part can't they do? They can't make the money.
They can't get rich.
Earn more
they
money.
Can't be a millionaire. They can't make more money. All this stuff that I put in the book, they push back against it and say, not for me. That's somebody else's world. And my response to them, not true, number one. But number two, you have the ability to fix a problem through insurance. Example, for $50 a month, someone can buy a term life insurance policy, 20 years, 30 years. Say it's $100,000.
$100,000 worth of insurance.
My brother-in-law, for $50 a month, he pissed it away at dinners all the time and on iPhones and all that stuff.
Wow.
If he left his wife and his 4 children with $100,000,
it would have been something.
Dude, it would have been everything would have changed.
Yeah.
In his mind, that year that he lived with the guilt of what's going to happen, right? That we talked about. He and I on his deathbed talked about at length about how did I let it happen, he would say. How did I not put enough money away that I'm leaving my family? How did I not buy insurance, right?
This is your brother or brother-in-law?
My brother-in-law. But we were, Rocky and I have been together forever, so I was
Dude, he was selfish.
I've heard you say that before.
I mean.
And it's a powerful statement, but if you don't get your money right, it is you caring more about you than it is the people that you're working for. Right? It's a big deal. What you just said is like crazy for most people, but it's true.
I sell cars, as you know, I sell cars for a living. I watch people, I preyed on people because, they wanted a bigger car they couldn't afford.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, I'll put you in it. I'll even make sense of it. Like if you even wandering, like thinking BMW, I'll get you to pay for it. And they do it to you every day. You guys need to know the whole world's preying on you every day.
But here's the bottom line, Grant. If you follow these steps in this book, I believe anybody has the ability to fix their money situation. If you skill up, if you become an expert, if you figure out how to handle risk, right? Risk is such a freaky thing for most people, but the reason people feel risk is because they haven't done the research and analysis. And so they stay in the risk world. How else do you buy, does one guy buy one door and you buy 5,000 doors? I look at it in my business.
Because I'm selfish.
No, because you've done the research and analysis to understand what risk means.
I'm a greedy bastard.
It's not none of that, dude. It's none of that. Anyone who says that is it's so retarded. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That thought is ridiculous. It has nothing to do with that.
But you know what's really ridiculous? And this is why I say, hey, what side of ridiculous you want to be on? I'm the same guy that couldn't pay $275 a month for rent.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I couldn't I couldn't my credit score was bad. I didn't have any money. Couldn't make sense of anything. And until I started doing what you're saying, first thing I had to do was get my skills up. Had to get my income up.
Have to get your
so
income up.
where does somebody get started before we go? First of all, the book's at Amazon. It's waiting for you right now. You need more money, okay? Matt's my friend. Get the book, and I'll get Matt to sign it for you.
All right, we'll work something out.
He'll send you a card inserted in the book, all right? And where do people start? I'm making $50,000 a year right now.
Yeah. So I think the first thing you got to start is back to those core values, Grant. What is it that you're going to tolerate and what are you not going to tolerate? Because, dude, a lot of people are going down paths that are not going to serve them well.
Yeah.
They're chasing the dollar and they're giving up their soul to do it. And I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that you have to be holy about it. You just don't want to be screwing people. Dude, I've been in business a long time. It all comes back.
Do you think there's a lot of people screwing people out there?
I was just at this event recently, and some guy gets up there talking about how you sell products on the internet, and every word out of his mouth was, here's the hack, here's the hack, here's the hack. None of these posts are legitimate, all these pictures are staged. So I'm like, well, I mean, it's not how I roll.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're teaching people that's how they roll, dude, the roost comes back.
Yeah.
It ain't for me, and I want to run clean.
Yeah.
And I always have.
Yeah, I think most of the people watching this do too. I'm concerned that the people watching screw themselves the other way.
Okay, 10-4. You mean they're screwing themselves internally rather than screwing customers?
The core values is not just being honest with others. It's like you guys got to get honest with yourself.
Sure.
Quit telling yourself you can't do something about it.
Yeah. So look, we want to fix it. We want to
dial in. I think my dad wouldn't screw anybody, but I think my dad got a little blindsided because he thought maybe he was going to live forever or something, or that he bought enough insurance.
Yeah.
Like I think everybody's not predicting what the future brings.
I saw the future firsthand. I saw it with my brother-in-law. I'm seeing it currently with my best friend. My wife's seeing it with her very close friend. Dude, I'm living this.
Yeah,
you have too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm living this firsthand of what I just literally last week got the phone call from my buddy. Hey, I'm going to go see the doctor tomorrow, and I got something going on with my liver.
Wow.
Okay, call me. Let me know how it goes. 85% of his liver eaten up with cancer. The rest is metastasized to his bone. He's 48 years old. He's my closest friend in the world.
Oh my God. Man.
Right? He's got a wife and 2 kids. Now, he does have a few bucks. So that's a little different, right?
Yeah. How much money do you think he's got?
I think he's got about $7 million. I think his wife will be left with about $7 million. Yeah, okay. She'll be okay, right? Yeah. But he wants more. Yeah. Here's the sad part.
She's gonna be concerned. Well, you guys really do the math on that deal. If she's 47 years old, she's got 40 years, man. If she can't produce new income and doesn't know what to do with that $7 million,
here's the sad part about her.
Yeah.
And my buddy's situation. Just on a side note, if the next 10 years, Grant, all that strategy that he put in place, that $7 million would have turned into big numbers for him. Right. He needed that next 10 years, But you don't know that stuff. So now what's going to happen is she's going to contract, and she's going to be a squirrel that just hoards those nuts.
Totally.
And that upside that he was preparing for, right? That next roll, that next play, never going to happen.
Yeah. She got $12,000 a month she can live on. Without earning another penny, she can exhaust $12,000 a month. Anybody can live on that. Most of you out there watching, you don't have that $7 million problem. You haven't gotten. He gave you 2 great situations: his brother-in-law and his best friend. One guy got enough, could have done more, maybe doesn't need to, and you don't need to if it's just your wife and your kids you're trying to take care of. But if it's your church you're trying to take care of, a legacy. You don't want the company to shut down the next day.
Dude, it's all of it. My point in the book.
Does he work at a company?
No, he owns his own business.
Yeah, okay.
But that's probably not going to make it.
He'll shut down.
That business will shut down.
She's not going to keep feeding it.
Nope.
Yeah.
And she doesn't know how to run it.
Yeah.
So it's over.
So you see, so that's over. So a bunch of employees, if that's part of your extended family, this is what nobody prepares for.
What I know will happen in that situation is they will all start looking at gas prices again. Right? When you got a machine that spits out tokens, you're not looking at gas prices. You're just filling up, right?
Yeah.
But the minute that condenses, you're like, $3 a gallon. I'll go to 87 at 265, right?
Yeah.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
I know that happened when
Hey guys, get yourself in the position, okay? I talk about this all the time. I really appreciate Matt taking the time to write the book. You need more money. Grab your copy today at Amazon. I'll get Matt to sign it for you. You need more money. You know that's true.
Come on, Johnny.
I love the title.
You need more money! Right?
You need more money. Who's got it? Matt's going to show you how to get it, how to skill up to get it, and how to get the people around you thinking the same way. Matt, thanks for being here today.
Thanks, buddy.
Wealth Dynamics believes everyone has the God-given right to own their potential. Most of us don't because we spend 40 hours per week serving the 40-year-to-life sentence, trading our precious time for worthless paper called money. We live on an economic planet and time and money do need to be exchanged, but it doesn't need to be your time or your money. We teach our clients to secure income-producing assets that make the time and money exchange for you so you can buy your freedom back and live a life of abundance and prosperity. To get there, we must know how to make money, how to keep it, and how to multiply it. Wealth Dynamics provides coaching, education, accountability, and community to help you build wealth. Join our coaching program, get educated on Wealth Dynamics University, and begin networking with the Wealth Dynamics Mastermind Group today. To get started, go to wealthdynamics.com. Growing your future, protecting your past. J.D. Frost & Company, PLLC, is a public accounting firm. Offers a variety of assurance and tax services to businesses and individuals in the Chattanooga and surrounding areas. We focus on construction and manufacturing industries. Our primary objective is client satisfaction through excellent customer service. Work with the best. We are accredited by the BBB. This is J.D. Frost & Company for a full suite of tax assurance and management accounting services. Visit us right now at frostcpas.com. Producers and creators are the sources of all value on the planet. MC Lobster, the host of the top-rated business and investing podcast Cashflow Ninja, is on a mission with Producers Wealth to help producers create, protect, and multiply their wealth outside of Wall Street in any economy by creating systems and processes that help them increase their production, provides them with liquidity, passive income generators, and opportunities for enormous growth. Learn more about their time-tested and proven systems at yourownbankingsystem.com. That's yourownbankingsystem.com.